Gen Z technology skill gap. Oh my god.
A lot of people are going to be surprised or not like to hear that you're actually right. Salesforce did a study that found that only 32% of the Gen Z workforce feels like they know how to use their technology within their jobs.
I mean, I just go ahead right now and say it that just because people are on their PC all day and just because people are on their phone all day, that does not mean they know how those things work. Just because they can like open up a browser or download a game, it does not make them like a higher level user per se. And before let's hear her first actually.
Which tells me two things. One, we're not doing what we need to be doing to build digital literacy at a younger age, preparing our workforce to go out and use the tools that they have available.
Definitely.
And number two, we underestimate the skill sets that the tail end of Gen X and millennials got from growing up alongside technology. For Gen Z, technology has just simply always existed.
Yeah.
We weren't developing new skills and learning new things right alongside with new technology as it became available. They weren't learning the basic foundations of coding from building MySpace or playing Neopets. Sure.
You know what's the funny thing is? When I learned coding in high school, it was me and two of my classmates that was teaching coding to the teacher because he didn't taught a class on coding, and that's how we learned coding, through teaching him to code. So it was kind of interesting to see that. And nowadays kids, I don't think they learn too much about these things because it's just in front of them and they just use stuff.
They had access to technology much earlier in life than most of us did. Everything was available at the tap of a button, and friction points have been removed from how they interact with most technology. And of course, we could argue that the business world needs to update the way that they're using technology, which of course I agree with. But that doesn't change the fact that we've kind of created this perfect storm for Gen Z where everybody assumes because they grew up technology native that they should be able to step into technology tools within the workplace like this, and nobody
They can't. They really can't.
is actually stopped to teach them how to interact with technology the same way that all the rest of us got.
That last part that she just said is such a big through. Like, I seen this on my sisters. We went to the same schools, but we went to the same schools like a few years apart. And then they went to different schools. But what I noticed about this whole thing with them, compared to us back then, that, for example, they are not capable of using basic goddamn software on the computer. They are barely even able to use like Word and Excel. Oh, bro, that's way too much. Like PowerPoint and Word. That's like, the limit. And they barely able to use those because they are not taught to use them. And I don't know why. It's like, it feels like in schools they think that because they are on their phone all day, it's like a given that they are going to be able to use certain softwares. But that is not a given. Even my sisters and my younger cousins and all that, they are so bad at even using Word. I can bet you money that my sister does not even know what Microsoft Access is. I don't think they ever seen a database other than Excel, maybe. Like, that's it. And even in Excel, they don't really know how to do anything because they were not taught to do anything. And that's where the problem is. Education is such a big issue everywhere, and I don't know why we are not just grabbing every goddamn tax money that we are paying and put it into education. That's what everyone should do. Like, education, healthcare, put the money there. And maybe military for deterrence. That's just my own opinion. Because it's always better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war zone. That's what they say. That's why I like that idea to have that too. But of course not on the the US levels. Although it kind of works for them, so I guess. But yeah. But education, and healthcare. That's the two things that I really, really want my country to focus on, especially education. It's so important, so incredibly important. Because this has infinite possibilities and resources. It's incredible what humans can do and humans can come up with. I mean, just look at technology around you. Like, isn't it freaking incredible what people can think about? That's why, and because they don't really learn in school, like critical thinking too, it's just such a lost cause sometimes, I feel like.
Last time I talked about this, I brought up the fact that I had typing lessons in school. So many people chimed in saying that was never a thing for them. It sounds silly, but something like moving from the Google
typing, like blind typing, was like a different class for me, because I went to like economic school, so I learned economics and stuff like microeconomics and all that things, and we learned this to be like an assistant and stuff, and like, you know, they go with the blind typing with 10 fingers. And we even got a paper on it that we can do those things and use Word and all that shit. But nowadays they don't really do that. Honestly, you can learn how to type pretty easily if you use it all day. I mean, how some people type on their phone is actually crazy to me. It's incredibly fast, and that's really good. And typing that she's bringing up is not really that important, because even like with 2 fingers you can type relatively fast. And of course with 10 you can do much more. But it's harder.
School Suite, where all you have to do is press a button to share information with anybody in your school's ecosystem, to moving into the corporate world where there's rules and governance and you're in a different interface on Microsoft Word. And suddenly you can't just share everything with external people. You can only share PDFs. You have to learn how to export that information and attach it to an email and take all of these extra steps that never existed in your world before.
And that is interesting, because we learned most of this in school, but like I said, my sisters are just not learning these things. I don't think they know how to make a PDF. When you literally just, I mean, maybe they could Google it, but honestly, that's the funniest part. They don't even know how to Google stuff. Like, they don't know how to use the search stuff. Like, the freaking information is at their goddamn fingertips, literally. And they just cannot seem to use it.
And because there were never any friction points, they don't know how to troubleshoot and just kind of dig into it and figure it out the same way that we all did.
That's a huge thing.
When I first started in the working world,
I mean, figuring out stuff and having those like issues that you have to solve, and you don't just like get the answer from like Google and such things. That is a huge thing too. I mean, if it's like a more complicated issue, maybe Google cannot really help you with it, and that's when they start to think more, because they cannot just get the answer straight from Google. They have to dig deep and just figure it out on their own, and like use their critical thinking and everything to like filter out the information they are getting on Google and everywhere, and just come to their own conclusions and such.
There was no one to ask my technology questions to, because I understood it better than most of my coworkers. So I did research, I dug in, I figured things out, and that made me...
But to be honest, when she says that, back then we did the same. Like, how did I learn how to install a Windows, or how to fuck things up in my PC, how to build my PC? I googled it. I learned it from Google. So it's not like I actually figured it out. Like, I was like just trying and the trial by error and all that, and I figured it out. I researched how to do it on Google, which kids do this day too, but they lack critical thinking a lot of times because they are not like put on to task without these things.
More self-sufficient. When you've never had to do that kind of troubleshooting and people all around you know how to use the technology, you become more dependent on those relationships and seeking out that information from your peers as opposed to doing the troubleshooting on your own. This is not me saying that all Gen Z is bad at using technology. It's not me saying that Gen Z is not self-sufficient and can't dig in to solve a problem. It's me just explaining why I think we see this skill gap exaggerated in a way that's so unexpected in the workforce.
I was with her. I was with her for a while, but that last part kind of throwing me off, to be honest. It's kind of throwing me off. I feel like Gen Z can figure out a lot of things. So even my sisters and all that, they can figure out a lot. But I see what she meant. And I see why she's saying what she's saying. Because even though we have the same technology at our disposal that they have, or like they have Google too, yet because they lack that critical thinking, because they are used to getting the information straight, and they don't have to put like things together and critically think about the things they are seeing online after they are doing some searching, because they lack that experience that they had to do in school, that is missing in schools too. But like, it's the same thing as like they cannot really use Word and such things like Excel or all those basic ass user programs, you know, the user level programs. So I can see where she's coming from. I actually can see where she's coming from. But I do think in some sense, Gen Z has some stuff on us too. In some sense. Because they are so familiar with these technologies, they can sometimes use certain like devices and stuff way more efficiently and way faster. Like I said before with the phone, I can type relatively slow on my phone, and I mistype a lot on my phone. It's not the same as using my goddamn keyboard, you know? It's just not the same. But them can do like if we are on outside with my sisters and such, if we have to search for something, I sometimes rather have them search it because they can do it faster on their phone. If it's on the computer, more than likely I can do it faster than them. But because they just type faster, they are more used to using their phone because they grown up on it, and I grown up on my PC, so it's just different. I think the device usage is very different. Because for example, my sister can edit videos, edit pictures and all that on her phone. I have no idea how to do that. I can do that on my PC. So it's just, I feel like it's a different skill set that they have. But they do have a pretty decent skill set. But maybe that does not really transform into the workforce because they lack the education that we had with PCs and all that. So, and at work, you are more than likely going to use a laptop or a PC and do all those things. You're not going to work on your phone. So that's why, and they're probably lacking that experience because most of them are on their phone and not on their PC. So I guess that could be something different that I could add here. That is interesting to think about, I feel like. Well, but overall it is interesting, and I can see where she's coming from with this whole thing. Especially after, like I said, like experiencing everything with my sisters too. Sometimes they can't even like normally Google search, and I don't know why. But it's just weird. It really is weird. But some of them are just so fast and search for everything on their phone. It's crazy. But when you put a laptop in front of them, they are just freeze up. I don't know. It's weird. Or when they have to like make a document or some shit on, or write an essay or anything. I don't know how many essays did I wrote for my sister, but don't tell that to the school, okay? Alright, thank you all for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think about it. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.